Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everybody and welcome to Don't forget to share this on your left hand side, this left, whatever left, that left. Make sure you press the share button and invite all your friends to come and watch along with us. We are interviewing and chatting with Robski today, who is a local artist from Milton Keynes. I don't know if you've seen all our shared stuff. We have tagged Robski in quite a few things recently. So I would like to welcome Robski, who is also Rob, a local artist. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to On the Sofa with Capri.
How does this sound?
Can you not hear anything? We can hear you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're not muted. It's weird that you can't hear each other.
This is the joys of technology, isn't it?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
We'll have to throw that back to Matt,
How
the
come it was
producer.
working like 5 minutes ago?
We'll switch off and then we'll come back to Robski in a minute and see if we can get these sound working from my side. I could hear everything he was saying.
Hello?
I don't know if everyone else could. Hello. No, I can hear you.
I still can't hear you.
Everybody write if you can hear us. Drop some comments so we can see if you can hear us both.
Listen to it.
We can hear both of you. Oh. So I can hear Rob, but Rob can't hear me. Matt, help!
We can hear you both, but you can't hear each other.
Any advice on this, Matt?
So at the moment, it looks like it will be Rob's side.
Do you want me to leave and rejoin?
Yeah, if Rob, if you can hear me, if you leave and then come back on the link, we should be able to get it working.
Okay, 2 seconds.
That's crazy. So Rob could hear you, but he couldn't hear me. So we're having a couple of technical issues at the minute. Joys of obviously everything being online. So just bear with us. If you haven't yet already, make sure you share the link below on the left-hand side, as I was told it is. Make sure you share the link so everybody else can watch along with us. Don't forget to send loads of love in. You can press the love heart buttons and stuff like that, and we can see all of that.
What?
Yay!
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
We're in business.
Yes. Well, hey,
Oh, girl.
that didn't take too long. Lucky we've got Matt here because I had no idea.
IT department. Turn it off. Turn it back on again. Check it's plugged in.
You should work in IT. That's IT answer, isn't it? Have you turned it off and back on yet?
What did I miss?
Nothing. I was just introducing you, and then I offered you to introduce yourself if you would like to, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Rob Sexton. I am an independent artist who does Robski Art. A little signature there. And I do lots of like camp, kitsch, gay themed artwork and post it up there. That's the t-shirt I'm wearing. This is one of my favorites.
Wait, perfect timing.
Are beardy men because that's what I find fun to draw.
Nice. I've got a few questions for Rob, but if you've got any questions, ask away, and then we'll be able to hopefully ask Rob and get some answers if anybody's got any questions. So a couple of questions I've got is, number one is, how long have you been doing your drawings, your artwork?
Oh, so drawing, I started when I was really young, when I was like a little kid, probably when I was like 4 or 5, and my granddad used to work in a printing factory in Dunstable, and he would bring back like huge, big, like packets of paper, like big sheets of like A3 paper, like hundreds and hundreds of sheets, and I would just like sit and I would scribble and draw and doodle for just hours and hours and hours and hours. And yeah, so I did that through school, and that was 30 something years ago.
21. We'll stick with 21. That's how old you look. 21, so you're fine.
Yeah, I've been putting Vaseline on the lens, so
does that actually work?
it gives you a soft focus.
Oh,
Go
yeah, I don't use anything.
check out RuPaul season 1.
Oh, I don't use anything. I even had to put a post up the other day and ask for help on what is the best makeup remover, because I kept burning my face on like just normal ones you buy off the shelf. So I've now found one that doesn't burn me, but
Nice.
I've never even put Vaseline in to look younger.
Oh no!
But again, I only 18, so
You don't put the Vaseline on your face. You put it on the camera lens.
oh,
And
Oh,
it
I'm
gives you a
doing that.
nice soft focus.
oh, okay. So that's why you got Vaseline over your camera.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. That's the reason. We'll go with that.
So you wasn't then drawing on the walls then? A younger, you had enough paper, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, no drawing on the walls. My parents were too scary. I wouldn't have dared do anything like that.
So after you done that, did you then go on to doing any degrees or anything for art?
No. So, did art in school and then wanted to do it kind of as a career, but realized that it wasn't going to happen really. Had kind of like a bad A-level experience in art and stuff, and decided I would go off and do a biology degree instead. So kind of put the artwork on the shelf for quite a few years. And then after I finished uni, I started drawing again, just like in my free time. And a famous gay artist in America, a guy called Joe Phillips. If you don't know him, check him out. That's my cousin. That's my cousin-in-law. And yeah, so a artist that I really like called Joe Phillips released a book, and I bought his book. And at the end of the book, it had like a little biography and like a little like email address. So I just wrote him a bit of a fan letter, just being like, "Oh, I really like your artwork. You've really inspired me. Like, it's so great to see kind of like, you know, gay artists producing gay artwork and stuff." And he started emailing back, and we were emailing back and forth for about a year. And then he said, "Look, I'm looking for an assistant. Would you want to come out to San Diego?"
Wow.
So I'd been saving up money for about a year because I was going to do a round the world trip, and decided I would spend the money and go to San Diego and be his assistant. So I did that for a year.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed with that.
That is where I met my husband.
Who's also in the room, but just not on camera.
Yeah, no, he's not on camera. He's the other side of the room, sipping a beer.
Oh, I'm jealous. I've got an Oasis. Soft
I
drink.
have a little lemonade. There might be something else in this. I'm not sure.
Ice. We've got a question that's come in from Rebecca Morris. Is what inspires your character design and your style of drawing?
So character design and a lot of the drawings I do, quite often they're inspired by like photos I might have seen on Instagram or online. I'll see like a photo like this guy. This guy was a guy that I'd seen some of his photos on Instagram, and I saw a photo of him wearing the headphones, and I was like, that would make a really cool design. So then I like sketch it out, and so that's kind of where that comes from. So it's usually just like things that I see, or sometimes like I have an idea. Like I did like a He-Man one, where because when I was a kid, I absolutely loved He-Man, and I wanted to do like a super gay like He-Man design. So I did like a rainbow He-Man, because I mean He-Man's
I like
pretty
that.
gay.
I've seen that on your website. That is pretty gay, but pretty cool. Do you have to have permission from people to draw them?
So when I'm like, if I'm drawing like a random person off like Instagram or Facebook or something, I'll normally write to them and say, do you mind if I draw you? Or I saw one of your pictures, it's really great. And most people come back and are like, oh yeah, great, that'd be really nice. Or sometimes if I can't get in contact with them, I'll draw it and then I'll send it to them after and say, look, I drew you. Do you mind if I post this? And like everyone always says, oh yeah, great, thank you. And yeah, post it. The only time I've had it where I drew somebody, I'd seen a picture on Pinterest and it didn't have who the photographer was. It didn't have who the model was. And I drew him and I posted it on Instagram. And then I got a message from somebody saying, you've drawn my boyfriend, you didn't ask permission. And I'm really upset. So I just said, okay, fine. I just deleted it. But if I'm drawing like celebrities, then I sometimes will message them, like a drag queen or something. I'll message them and say, can I draw you? But quite often you don't get a response. So I just go ahead and do it anyway.
Well, if you message me, I'll respond. I'll let you draw me.
We'll sort something out.
Talking about drawing people, I had an attempt of drawing you. So I had a little Google of your name. And then this is the drawing I come up with. We'll get it up on the screen so everyone can see.
Does it look like me?
A nice picture of you in the gym.
In my gym attire, what was I wearing? I'm wearing a black vest.
It's a black vest, and then it was like, I don't know. If you just Google your name, it comes up.
Cool. I like it.
It's one of your design T-shirts, though.
Ah, I like that you did the tattoo as well. You've got the octopus tattoo. Good work.
I was trying to copy it in, and I tried adding your muscles in for you as well.
The muscles have gone now, so that's fine. So you've also managed to do my sad eyes. My husband always says I've got sad eyes because they turn down. Sad eyes.
That wasn't. I just tried copying your picture. I wasn't trying to give you sad eyes.
It's good. I love it.
Rebecca loves the one with He-Man and the skeleton on Swift Wind.
Yeah,
love that picture.
That one is actually by another artist who I really love, called Andrew Ahern. and that's one of his t-shirts. I'm all about supporting gay artists.
Nice. It's always good to and just supporting local artists is good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Support
So-
your local drag, support your local artist, buy LGBTQ products.
Got to make sure you get all the letters in now. Don't miss out any.
TI2 K
A to Z.
A to Z. A to Z. There we go. Sorted.
Yeah, the A to Z community, everyone's covered. I've got another question for you then, is do you do art as a full-time job now then?
I do not. I have a office job where I design fashion accessories. Oh, she's a fashion designer.
Woo!
And I just do my artwork kind of in my spare time, weekends, evenings, whenever I get time, really, as my like side hustle. So day job to pay the mortgage and t-shirts for fun.
Everyone's got that job just to pay the mortgage, which is just a job. Hi, James.
Hello.
So does your husband get to spend much time with you then, if you spend all your spare time drawing?
Yeah,
You let him in the room while you're drawing or not?
Yeah, I mostly do it on the couch, so it's quite hard to get me off the couch. So I'm usually sat on the couch drawing, and he's sat on the couch like either knitting or crocheting, because we are rock and roll. We are crafty queens. We draw.
Well, I'm up here decorating my face. I sit up here decorating my face, and my husband sits downstairs just mainly on chairs, which
Mainly on
is
what?
so opposite. Sitting on chairs, like stocks and stuff, so boring for me.
But is he
Yeah.
making the money?
I'm hoping so, because trying to look like this costs a lot. So I hope he's making enough.
That's like the Dolly Parton quote. It costs a lot of money to look this cheap.
Yeah, I'd say they look cheap. Crafty queens, love it. Thank you, Nina. That's going to have to be a quote now. You have to get that quoted.
I get it on a t-shirt.
Are any of your artwork inspired by your husband? Question from Rebecca.
I have drawn him, and I do have a him on a t-shirt, and I've got one, and he's got one, and and I have worn it out before, and people have kind of looked at the t-shirt and then looked at him, and then looked back at the t-shirt and been like, yeah, but I don't regularly draw him. I think I've only drawn him a couple of times.
That's quite cool. That's quite cool. Hi, Robski and Capri, love from the US. Hello, Brett Wilson.
Brett is a guy who has bought quite a few of my t-shirts, and he was one of the first people, other than friends and family, who bought some of my t-shirts. So I have a special place in my heart for Brett.
So that's a massive shout out to Brett then.
What, Brett?
He's supporting local artists overseas.
Support gay businesses.
Woohoo! So another question from me is, where did the name Robski Art come from?
So Robski, when I was 20, in between summers at university, I did American summer camp, and I was at a summer camp in Maryland, in North America, and it was like an international summer camp, and we had like counselors from 16 or 17 different countries. And my best friend there was a girl called Amy, who I still know 18, 19 years later. And she christened me in like the first week there, Robski. She always used to call me Robski, and it just kind of like stuck after she started calling me that. Yeah, so that's kind of where Robski came from. And then when I started my Instagram account, somebody had already got Robski. Damn you. So I had to stick the art in the end.
Shame you can't copyright stuff like that. So
Yeah, I should've
Robski's
gotten
comes
that
from
quicker.
Amy. Chris says, what is your ambition with your artwork and how far do you want to take it?
I want to rule the world.
Run this.
I'd like to like have a brand, like like Philip Normal, or but remain like independent at the same time. But I'd like it to be more well known and more people to buy into it as a brand. I don't have any ambitions at the moment to like quit my job and pursue it full time because I got bills to pay. But I will take it as far as I can.
With that, then, you say you want it to go far. You're already in America,
Oh,
so
God.
that's going quite far across.
I've sold T-shirts to, I think it's about 20 different countries.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so every now and again I'll get like a sales report come through, and I can like filter it to see where like the T-shirts have gone, and there's like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Sweden, like loads of like really random places.
Your cousin's asking, when do you open the storefront in Milton Keynes?
When she comes over and she runs it for me.
There you go. Rob's going to sign your visa from across.
But Chi, I can't afford to pay you much, so
It'll self-employed basis.
Yeah, you'll be working on commission.
sounds like most sales jobs. You'll be fine. So are you on? So you said you're on social media, but Robski was gone. So what is your name on social media then?
So on the Instagram, I am Robski Art. On Facebook, I'm also Robski Art. And on Twitter, I'm Robski A. But the Twitter I don't really use very often. So to be honest, I forget that I've got it most of the time. Yeah, that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on the socials.
Nice. So you've got an employee who's happy to sleep under the sewing machine.
Yeah, I got rid of that bed, unfortunately.
You're going to be running one of them dodgy factories soon. And we had a hello from Matilda Sparkles as well, who is another UK-based drag queen as well.
Hello, local drag.
With social media then, what annoys you the most with social media as an artist? Okay,
right. So this is what I get literally on a daily basis, and it drives me.
Oh, it sounds like I'm spilling some big teeth.
This drives me absolutely up the wall. So I'll get a DM, and it will say, "Draw me, please," and that
is that it?
Or draw me. Sometimes not even a please, and then I'll look at the person's account and I'll be like, you don't even follow me, but you're asking me to spend between 2 and 4 hours of my own personal time, like that's an evening's work, basically drawing you. So I usually go back to them and say, yeah, if you want me to draw you, maybe we can arrange something. I do commissions. What are you thinking of? And I can give you like a price estimate. And then they always come back and say, no, for free. Draw me for free. And I'm like, I'm not spending my personal time drawing you. Like, I got better things to do. Like, if I was a chef on Instagram and I was cooking and I was making food, you wouldn't send me a DM and say, come over to my house and cook me dinner for free. Like, there's no.
I don't know. I might do that. It's good food. I've actually got my own chef in the house.
Oh, nice.
He'll kill me for saying that because he's not a chef. He just cooks all the dinners. Have you ever considered online workshops for aspiring artists, like for general human body drawings and developing a style? Sorry, I'm being hectic. That's from Rebecca.
That's a good question. It's not something that I've ever considered. There is a lot of resources out there on Instagram over this whole lockdown period. A lot of art groups have sprung up with people doing it. If Rebecca wants to draw from life, there's a lot of groups which are set up where they do life drawing via Zoom or via Facebook Live or all these kind of platforms. For me, that's like too technical. I'm a bit of a grandpa with computers, so that would probably go over my head. I wouldn't even have the first idea of how to set it up. But there is lots of resources out there. So if she wants to get involved in that, also there's local resources here in Milton Keynes. There's an art group that I was part of a couple of years ago, and I did like a 10-week drawing course where we were drawing from life. Funny thing, it was a 10-week drawing course, and we basically drew the same nude lady every week. And on the first week, I realized she goes to my gym. And the next day, after drawing her nude for the first time, I saw her at the gym, and she came over and was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And I was like, oh, this is a bit weird.
That's like very opposite to your drawings, from bearded gay men to naked women.
Yeah, it didn't say on the. I thought there was going to be a different person each week, and the only week we got someone else was when she was ill, and then we got an old man came in and we drew him instead. But I thought it was going to be a different person, but it was the same lady for 9 out of the 10 weeks. So we got to know her very well. We
got
saw
to draw
all
very,
the nooks and crannies.
I will leave the drawing up to you. Definitely, you can keep that. I am not dealing with nooks and crannies at Women's Banks. So, what services do you offer then? When you mentioned, obviously, doing the nooks and crannies with women, what services do you offer? You said about commissioning drawings. Let's move away from nooks and crannies with females.
Yeah, I've done all kinds of different commissions. Like it gets busy before Christmas and sometimes before Valentine's Day and stuff, because people will message and be like, "Oh, can you draw a picture of like me and my boyfriend?" And I'm gonna get it printed and framed and put it up, in our room, like as a present for him. So I've had that. I've designed people's business cards. I've designed cushions for people. There's other people that are like, "Oh, I'd love a picture of my like." Oh, I had one where a guy wanted me to draw his dad as a superhero, and he wanted it done because he wanted to make it into a birthday card. And then when I finished it, he was like, "Oh wow, this is amazing! I'm gonna get it blown up and like printed as like a big, and I'm gonna frame it for him." So that was really sweet. So lots of stuff like that, and quite a lot of people like message on Insta and like, "Oh, can you draw me for my socials?" And one guy a couple of weeks ago was like, "Oh, I want to draw in for my Grinder profile." I was like, "Okay, sure. You're paying? I'll draw it."
I was going to say, do you charge for all of that then?
Yeah. So there's like when someone writes to me, I have to like try and work out exactly what they want and how long it's going to take me to complete it. So my rates are based on roughly how many hours it takes and how complicated it is to do. And then I add on extra cost if somebody keeps coming back and wants changes or wants amendments, or like, "Oh, I think my head is smaller than that," or "I want a different hair color," or I don't like how my face looks, do it again.
Bigger.
Yeah. So that like that is added on. But yeah, if people write to me, then like I usually have a little think about it, and then we'll go back and say, look, it's going to be between this price and this price, and there's addition if you want amendments or whatever. So yeah, but each project is, I don't have like a flat list because every project I look at like differently as well.
Yeah, I can imagine it is quite difficult, and you can only guess how long it's going to take. And I bet some things you'll probably underestimate yourself with time, and then end up taking much longer.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. Where I've said to somebody, "Oh yeah, I can do this portrait. It's going to take me like 3 hours, and I'll be like 50 quid or something." And then it ends up taking me, like 6.5 hours over like 3 days. And I can't really go back to them and be like, oh, actually, for the amount of hours I've spent on this, that's really like, 100 and something quid. So I was kind of go back to them and be like, okay, here's the artwork. I'm sticking to the estimate that I originally gave you. But yeah, underestimating is usually my biggest issue.
What's your longest drawing? What is the one that's taking you the longest?
I drew a commission for a guy that wanted to be drawn as the Greek god Dionysus, the Greek god of wine, or is it Bacchus?
Same thing.
Yeah,
Roman
and Greek. So he wanted to be drawn basically lying on a marble bed, eating grapes, and then surrounded by grapevines. And it literally took me about 12 or 13 hours. And then the worst thing is I finished it, and then I was tidying up some files on my computer, and I accidentally deleted it, and I couldn't get it back. And I had to go back to the guy and say, like, I'm really sorry. I've deleted this artwork, but I was so distraught. I said to him, I can't restart this because it's too soul destroying. Like, I will be in tears if I have to start this again. So I said, come back to me in a few months and I'll redo it for you. But it's too soon. The wound was too sore.
Yeah, that's mental. I have the issue when I draw my eyebrows on after doing my eyes, and it looks awful, and I have to wipe it off and start again. And that's like 45 minutes, let alone 12 hours. Jeez. So what are your current interests or projects that you're working on at the minute?
So at the minute, I have started putting some of my designs onto fabric because, as we said, she's a crafty queen. I've decided that there wasn't enough gay fabrics for me to buy. So I thought I'm going to make some of my own gay fabrics. So I opened up a Spoonflower account and I've started printing fabrics. So I've done some Golden Girls.
That is cool. I think I need to.
There's some Leather Daddies.
My screen's frozen. I think I'm back. I don't know if your screen has frozen or if it's just my side.
You look a bit. You're moving again now. You're kind of frozen for a second. Hello.
Am I back?
You're back. You're a bit blurry. You're shifting about a bit.
That any better?
Yeah, that's better.
This is joys of Wi-Fi, isn't it? So where can you go buy your t-shirts and stuff like that? Have you got a website for your t-shirts and your other bits?
My t-shirts, I sell them on 2 websites, on TeePublic and on Redbubble. If people want to buy anything, if they go to my Instagram, Robski Art, on there, all the links to like everywhere that I post stuff, because I do print on demand t-shirts. So I only that t-shirts only get printed when someone buys them, basically, which is
Okay.
it's better for the environment, basically, because rather than getting hundreds of t-shirts printed and then if they don't get sold, they sit in a box for years and years. Instead, print on demand. Someone sees it on the website, they like it, they click it, they buy it, and then the order goes through to like a warehouse factory where there's all these plain t-shirts, and then they take the order, they get the t-shirt the person wanted, print it, post it, boom, goes. And so I don't have to. I live in a little house, as you know, as you sold it to me, and I don't have the room for like boxes and boxes of stock. Although, if Pride happens in 2021, I am going to get a load of t-shirts printed, and I will hopefully have a stall, and I should be flogging Robski stuff on there. But if people want to buy anything, then yeah, hit my Instagram, and all the links are there. Or I think they might also be on my Facebook account, Robski Art, as well. Or Google me. Google Robski Art, and you will find a route to a t-shirt that you will love.
And if you also want to, you can Google Robert Sexton and see what comes up as well. That's where I found my picture of you.
Maybe don't do that.
Is it? I know you mentioned the artist that inspired you that you went to work with. Is there any other artists that inspire you at the moment?
So I was really inspired by a lot of comic book artists growing up. So like Jim Lee, who is like a superstar of the comic book world. He doesn't do a lot anymore, but he really was at his high peak when I started reading comics when I was like a teenager. And he did some amazing stuff on like X-Men and like relaunched that comic and stuff. At the moment, there's people like Jim Chung and Oliver Copiel, who is a young British gay comic book artist who's amazing. So there's like, and also like classic artists that I studied when I was like doing A levels and stuff. Always kind of always
trying to get the commission in already.
She's there. She's there.
I will get commission for this. I will get my commission.
And also like other gay artists, like the one that I think Rebecca mentioned earlier, which is by a guy called Andrew Ahern, who is an amazing artist, and he does these fantastic drawings of like 80s and 90s kind of off the wall gay characters, like but also he draws like the Spice Girls, but he draws them dressed up as like stormtroopers or as X-Men characters, and he does
I've seen these.
he does a lot of like he recently he's done like a lot of He-Man characters, and so I've got ones where it's He-Man and Skeletor or like different characters, but he like gays them up. So that's really great as well, supporting gay artists. And there's another guy called Jock Mooney, who has a brand called Hello Vonk, and his artwork is amazing. He does stuff like mine but better, where he draws like celebrities, like actual like proper celebrities, and he draws them in a way that kind of looks like they're kind of hand painted almost.
Oh, wow.
And I've got like a few of his. Like he did this one of Gemma Collins, which I bought, which is just hilarious. And he's done one for Lorraine Kelly, and she actually bought it, and I think she wore it on TV. So yeah, he's really good. So people check out Hello Wrong, check out Andrew Ahern. Big up to other independent gay artists out there.
So you mentioned he's got on TV, brought by a famous person. Have any of your artwork or any of your T-shirts and stuff appeared on TV or with any famous people?
So I did a picture. You're a fan of drag. Have you ever seen Hey Queen?
Yeah.
So Johnny McGovern from Hey Queen, I drew a picture of him and printed it on a t-shirt and he wore it on the show. Unfortunately, he forgot to mention on the show who drew the t-shirt or where you could get it from. So that was a little bit annoying. So,
yeah.
John McGovern, if you're watching, you should wear it again, and this time you should name me. And
We'll
I've sent, yeah, I've sent a couple t-shirts before because people suggested like, oh, you should send some t-shirts to like Instagram like influencers. And I've done it a couple times, but like, I never really get much back off of it. Like you get a few extra followers, but it always seems like a lot of effort for not a lot of return. I'd like to draw some more people. I'd love to see, you know, someone like Trixie Mattel or RuPaul or Kylie or Lady Gaga wearing one of my t-shirts. Maybe I should start sending out to some pop divas, see if I can get them to put one of the t-shirts on.
I'm sure they're all going to be watching this, so they all need to go start buying your t-shirts. Aim high, aim high. Do you see yourself doing this as a full-time job?
Unless I win the lottery, which keep hoping, or unless, you know, suddenly Lady Gaga wore one of my t-shirts and then they started flying. Unfortunately not. This is going to be my side hustle for the time being. But who knows? Maybe one day.
Are you buying your lottery tickets though?
I'm buying my lottery tickets. You know, I'm doing my sewing. I'm doing my fabric design. So maybe I'll, you know, maybe I'll do some drag queen clothing. Maybe when you're on Drag Race UK, you can wear one of my gowns.
Yes.
And big up. And then I'll have my own brand of that. I do a podcast as well, but the podcast is about sewing, so it's probably not of massive interest to a lot of your listeners. But I do a podcast about the Great British Sewing Bee because I am rock and roll.
What's your best thing that you've sewn?
That I've sewn? I made a leather jacket. It's like a hoodie, but it's like it's faux leather. It's PU.
I was going to say, is it real leather? That's supposed to be really hard to sew, isn't it?
It is pretty hard to sew, and to be honest, fake leather is pretty hard to sew as well because you can't stick pins in it. Because if you put pins in it, it makes a hole, and whereas like fabric, if you stick a pin in it and you like pull it, the hole will close up because the pin goes in between the threads. But with leather, you can't put pins in because that will create a hole forever. So when you're sewing it, you basically have to peg it together with these little pegs. It's a bit of a nightmare, but that was probably the most impressive thing I've ever made because it was. It took me about 10 or 12 hours to make, and it's fully lined. And yeah, that's the thing I'm probably the most proud of. I wear it all the time as well. All the time.
And hello, Aunt Jill. She keeps saying hi. So hello to my Aunt Jill. You don't actually live too far away from each other. I only know this because obviously I saw you.
Yeah, you know where I live.
I sure do. That does sound a bit strange, but yeah. So what has been your most popular design?
Oh, okay. So the most popular one I happen to have here, right next to me, is this guy.
I've seen that one quite a lot.
Yeah, there we go. So this guy I drew because I love gardening as well, because, you know, gardening is cool. And I wanted to do something for like Pride, but for people into gardening and flowers and stuff. So I did that, and then it was featured on a website. So they put it on their like opening page. I think this was like 2 years ago. They had like a Pride season where they were like featuring gay artists and stuff, and my picture was like the first picture when you went to the website. So like I went to bed one day, and the next day I woke up and it was like you've made 20 sales. And I was like, what? That's usually like a month or two's worth of like sales. And it happened like overnight. And I was like, what the hell's happened? And then like I saw that I had an email from them being like, we've featured your artwork. So that was pretty good. I got it printed onto a cushion. The
And a
cushion
big
was
cushion
little
at
big.
that.
Yeah, it was a little bigger than I thought. I did measure it, but it was a little bigger.
Well, no one's going to complain
So-
about getting something bigger than they expected.
So that's kind of a floor cushion, but it sits on our couch. So I like snuggle up to that.
Chris says, wow,
That's
that
been-
looks awesome and something psychedelic.
It is a little bit psychedelic, to be fair. It's a lot of colours going on, a lot of like rainbow beard.
Rebecca says, wait, explain I know where you live joke. I'm lost. So when I first joined house sales, Rob was one of my first sites that I worked on. Rob and his husband come and brought their house from me. They actually knew the house was released before I knew. I literally got to work and you was outside, wasn't you? And I was just like, it's not released. And you're like, it's online. It's like, is it?
Yeah, the funny thing was, because we were checking like every day, and my husband works for Rightmove. I'm sure he worked for Rightmove then. So he was like checking every day, and we knew we wanted this house. And I remember coming in and having a look around and stuff, and then going back to work, and you'd said to me, oh yeah, you can leave like a £500 deposit or whatever to secure the plot. And I went back into work, and I called my boss and I said, look, I really want to get this house and I don't want anyone else getting it. And I'd been on the phone to Alex and been like, what should we do? Should we get this house? And I said to my boss, I don't want to wait till after work. Do you mind if I just nip down now? I'll be like 15 minutes. And he was like, no, fine, go. And I remember like jumping in the car, driving down, seeing you. And as I was like sat down, you leant over the desk and you kind of whispered to me, the people who are just walking in now, they also want that house, the house you want. So it's so lucky that I actually drove down and got in there when I did, because if I'd have been like 5-10 minutes later, they'd have got this house and we'd have been next door with the smaller garden and with people on either side. So
You got a really good
Thank
size
you.
garden on yours, didn't you?
yeah, it's a nice garden. We love our garden.
I actually remember that when you come in, because I said to Chris, I was like, when he said how do we know each other, and I was explaining, obviously I told you this is before GDPR, so I could tell you that they was also looking at just in case anybody that works watching, that was before GDPR.
It was many years before GDPR.
You was allowed to tell people. As a neighbourhood, how is it over there now?
It's
'Cause
good.
It's not finished.
It's really good. They're building houses opposite now. And since I've moved in, one of my work colleagues has moved in on like the street parallel to our street and Butter Row, yeah. And my sister moved into the estate as well, one end, and then she's just moved right round the corner from me, which is nice. So she's like literally 20 seconds away. So I could probably throw something from my garden and get it into her garden. But unfortunately, with COVID, we can't. I've not been able to actually really go into her house yet. She only moved in December. But yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's close to Stony. It's close to Wolverton.
I know. I
It's
didn't want
comfy.
to say too much where you lived. I didn't want to give it away. And then obviously you've got the thing around your husband saying, "It's this street." No one Google.
They won't find me. It's a long street. They won't find me.
It's the one with the biggest garden. I didn't say that.
I'm taking down the pride flag from outside as soon as this finishes. They won't be able to find me when I take that down.
Oh, perfect. There was one other question that I had. Hang on. There was another question, but I can't remember it, and I haven't got it written down. I thought about it when we was talking. I can't remember. I'm going to finish this and be like, damn, that's what it was.
I'll get like a message in like 10 minutes, and it will be like, what?
Yeah.
Alex is saying he's got a question.
Oh, Alex, what's your question?
What's your question?
If you could draw anyone, who would you draw?
Did you hear that? He said, if I could draw anyone, who would I draw? That's
Who
a
would it be?
difficult question.
Your mother.
He's saying my mother. No, not my mother. To preconceive. I don't know. I guess maybe I'll do some more celebrities. I'm always up for, like, if people tell me what they want to see more of. Like if people go on my Instagram and they say, I really love this, or I love the pictures you did of that, or I love the ones where you had more flowers in and stuff like that. That kind of stuff is really good because it gives me an idea of kind of what people are after. Like sometimes I can see like what t-shirts are selling well, but sometimes it's weird because sometimes I've done designs which I thought were okay, but I didn't think they're amazing, and they've been the ones which have sold and sold and sold and sold. Like I did a t-shirt which basically just had a jock strap on it. It wasn't very exciting, but I drew a jock strap and I was like, right, I'll stick it on a t-shirt, and that has just sold and sold and sold over the years. So people are obviously fan of underwear. Yeah. Oh, and then I was going to say as well, hopefully, if we do get a Pride, I did all the t-shirts for the Milton Keynes Pride Festival that happened in 2019. So
Yeah.
like all the volunteers got a free t-shirt, which was the Vivian, winner of UK's Drag Race. That was before she was the winner. So they all got a t-shirt, and then they were selling some of my designs where I'd drawn like historical gay characters like historical gay people like Alan Turing and who else did I do? There was like I think there was about 8. Nicola Adams, the boxer, and Gareth Jones and Tom Daly, and like various kind of gay celebrities.
Are you
Dusty
doing
Springfield?
Because February's LGBTQ plus month, isn't it?
Ah, I did not know that. That's bad. I'm going to have my gay card revoked.
I'm sure it is. Because I know you get Pride month, but then you get the LGBTQ A to Z month, which I'm sure is February.
Okay, right. I need to get on that then, and maybe I'll
Google. Don't get on Google. Keep watching.
I will. Maybe I'll do something for that month as well. Yeah. So hopefully, if they do Pride, if we get a Pride in 2021 this year, then hopefully I'll be doing something for that. Maybe I'll have a stall. So yeah.
Maybe I can attempt to make an outfit out of your fabric for Pride month.
Yes.
I can. So I do think if I go and drag race, I will be fine because I'm actually someone who can sew. I made quite a few outfits. Not this one because it's not enough boot on show for me.
You're a crafty queen too.
I am. I do enjoy sewing. Oh, we've got a COVID question. With the current lockdown, have you had more time for your art or picked up other pursuits?
I have had a lot of time because I was furloughed in my day job. So I was furloughed for like probably about 8 or 9 months. So I was at home doing a lot of drawing. In the summer, I was gardening as well, doing a lot of gardening because we spend a lot of time in the garden, and we decided to grow some of our own kind of fruit and veg as well this year.
Pictures. I saw loads of your garden. I always show it to my other half, and I'm like, look at this.
Yeah, so over lockdown, there was when I wasn't gardening, though I was drawing and sewing, a lot of sewing. So I made quite a few things for my sister because it was her 40th birthday. So I made her like a jacket and like a fancy hoodie thing, and I made me various these giant hoodies, but they're out of fleece, so you can like snuggle up in them. Like essentially, it's kind of like a muumuu with sleeves. So and because I've been getting fatter over lockdown because I've been eating and drinking more, it's nice to wear something big and cuddle up in it.
We also had another question, which was, who is your favourite celebrity? Because Sam, which is mum, hers is Boy George. So she wants to know who yours is.
Oh, favorite gay celebrity. I like Years and Years. Ollie Alexander, the lead singer for Years and Years. Big fan of that band. This is something I'm really not good on the spot. I've realised this now. I'm really not good at thinking on the spot. My brain has clearly gone to mush.
I would go with Shannon Tatum just to stare at him.
Go with who? Say that again.
Shannon Tatum, just to stare at him.
Do they have to be gay, or is this any celebrities?
Just go with any. But Shannon Tatum's bisexual.
Okay, fair enough.
So
He's on the letters. Chris Helmsworth, Paul Rudd, lots.
Ryan Reynolds.
RuPaul, Ryan Reynolds. Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, agreed on that one. And then we had another question from Katia, but I didn't see it. We might have to get back up again.
Was it?
I've never heard of your art, Robski, but it looks really cool, and I'll definitely look at more of your work. Thanks, Capri, for bringing it up. Oh, you are welcome.
RuPaul drag queen.
You are welcome, Katia. Oh, there you go.
Oh, right. Well, this is a question because I found actually the other day I was on my work computer and I'd made a spreadsheet from all of the queens. How sad is that? All of the queens, and I'd like marked them out of like 10 on different ratings. I would probably have to say, and I was talking to my husband about this the other day about who our favorite queens were. I would probably say Trixie Mattel is one of my all-time favorite queens. I've seen her at, I think it was at the Brixton Academy, and then I saw her in a nightclub, and she was stood right behind me, out of drag, and I was stood with some friends, and one of my friends like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Trixie Mattel stood behind you," and I kind of turned around and was like, and then was like trying not to stare because I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm a massive fan. I also love like Katya, Miss Cracker, Bianca, Adore,
Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie,
Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie.
Oh, she was on that cruise.
And then Bag of Chips is hilarious. What do you think of the UK's one? Are you watching this season's?
Oh.
This season?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this season so far. I mean, I'm actually enjoying this season more than the American one. I'm all about the UK this season, and I at the moment I'm a bit obsessed with Lawrence Cheney. So I really like Lawrence Cheney. You are?
He's got that massive hair, hasn't he?
Yeah, like when he's out of drag, he's got like a weird, like crazy quiff of hair. I don't know how it like that stands up.
Evie Oddly.
Evie Oddly is a good one. I was actually rewatching that series a couple of days ago. Fancy a slice, Ginny Lemon. On the UK, also I like Ellie Diamond. I think is really good, and she makes like the most amazing outfits. So gotta give a shout out to her for that. I think it's going to be a really good season.
Is it? I think it is. I was, when it first started, I was a bit like, oh, hello, we have a very big yellow hair season. And I don't know if it's my TV, but have you noticed on the American one, are you watching that? Everyone
yeah.
orange.
It looks orange.
Yeah, their faces are quite orange.
I haven't noticed that, but I will now. Next time I see it, I will now check it out.
What is this? I strongly believe in hibernating during the winter. Do you have a hoodie or a tracksuit range? There you go.
You know what?
Yeah,
I don't usually, but people quite often say, "Oh, will you sew me something? Will you make me something?" And I don't normally sew stuff for other people. I usually just sew stuff for myself and for my husband because it's not as easy as you think it's going to be. Sew it, and it takes a lot longer than you think. And when you've spent like 10 hours working on something, and then you give it away, or somebody says, "Oh, I'll buy a hoodie off you," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, well that's taken me like 6 hours to make, and the fabric cost me like 20 quid, so I'm gonna have to charge you like 50 quid for this hoodie." And they're like, "Oh, I can go to Primark and buy one for 6 quid." So it doesn't kind of work out. So I don't tend to make people a lot of stuff. I thought of another question as well. Which
I'm loving this, and you are great. That's from my aunt. She doesn't live far from you either.
Oh, Auntie Jill, I'll put my head outside the window later and shout out, "Hello, Jill." Yeah, I thought of the question, which was like how I got into drawing a lot of the gay stuff, like this, the sexy men's, which was about 4 or 5 years ago now. A friend at the time asked if we wanted to go clubbing in London at the Royal Vauxhall Tavern because they had a friend who was starting a new like bear night. For anyone who doesn't know what a bear is, it's not the thing that shits in the woods. Well, they might do, but in gay circles, a bear is a usually larger, hairy guy.
Yeah.
And then within that, you've got cubs who are younger, and you've got all different sorts of bears, but that's a whole other show. So they asked if we wanted to go to this bear night. So we went along, and I had the most amazing night. It's called Beef Mince. It's not running at the moment because of COVID, but after COVID, if there's anybody who does enjoy a friendly night out, and it's really inclusive, it's not just for bears, it's for everybody. They play good music. It's really like a fun evening. It was one of the only times I've been to like a nightclub where instead of being like really cliquey and like bitchy, and you walking in and everyone's kind of like giving you side eye, everyone's like super friendly, and you end up chatting to all kinds of random people like outside and like making friends. And I've got friends from Beef Mince that I'm still friends with now, and I only see them like every like 6 months or whatever. But when we see each other, we're all like chatting. And anyway, so I went to that night, and it got to the end of the night, and I was like, I've had the best time. And it's run by these two guys, Dan and Agiris, boyfriends, and it's not their full-time job. They just run this, like at the time it was once a month. I said to one of the guys, "Look, I really had the best night. Is there anything I can do to help you? Like, can I do anything to help Beef Mince, to help this night, because I want to give back?" And Agira said to me, he's like, "What can you do? What skills have you got?" And I was like, "I can draw." And he was like, "Okay, fine. Why don't you design us some like posters, and we can use them for like digital marketing, and we can print them out and like put them up." So the next month, I designed a load of like a poster of like I can't remember what the first one was. It was probably a semi-naked guy, and they put it on like their Instagram and their Facebook. And then when we got to the club, they'd printed it out, and it was like on the walls and stuff. So so I've been doing kind of promotion stuff with them. If anyone's interested, I think their website is beefmince.co.uk. And then after I'd probably been doing promotional stuff for them for about a year, they said, "Oh, we want to do some t-shirts. Could you do us a design to put on t-shirts?" This is before I'd ever done any t-shirts. And I was like, I guess so. So I did some designs, gave them to them. They got them printed. And then a few months later, I went in the nightclub, and I could see people walking around with like my design on. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I love seeing my artwork being worn and on people. And I thought, I'm going to start doing my own. So that's what led me to start doing my own t-shirts and like the print on design stuff and like setting up the pages that I've got, because I was helping them out with theirs, and they kind of gave me the push to think about, you know what, I've done stuff for them, now I'm going to launch my own brand and do it for myself. And that is the story of how Robski came about.
That answers my question. It reminds me of my question that I had, which you've just answered, is how long Robski Art's been going and how. The other thing is, you said you're drawing. What do you draw on? Because I'm guessing when you said to edit, you're not drawing it on paper with a pencil.
So
or are you?
when I started, I used to draw. I used to draw on paper. So, and oh my god, this used to take so long. So I would draw on paper with pencil. Then when I was happy with it, I would go over it with black ink. When that's dry, you have to rub out any of the pencil marks. Then when that's done, you have to scan it into a computer. Then you have to darken the inks and tidy up any like little mistakes or anything. And then you have to do something called vectorizing it. So you change it into a vector instead of a raster image. I won't go into that, it's boring. And then you can do like coloring and stuff on the computer. So that's like a lot of steps and would take forever. And also I used to have to scan them in at work, so I'd have to wait till everyone went home so I could actually sit in the office on my own, scanning stuff in and colouring stuff. And my sister kept saying to me, you should get an iPad. You should get an iPad, but you can draw on an iPad. And I was like, no, they're too expensive. No, I don't think I'd use it. No, I'm not doing that. And then after about a year, or maybe a bit longer, Alex was very naughty and he bought me one as my joint Christmas and birthday present. And that must be 2 years ago now. And now I draw straight onto the iPad. And I love it. It saves me, oh my God, it saves me hours and hours and hours of hand drawing. And then, I mean, it's still hand drawn, but it's not hand drawn onto paper anymore. It's hand drawn directly onto the computer. So that's how I do it.
So I'll confess on how I draw yours is I underlaid your picture underneath and then draw roundabouts. What's it called? Tracing?
Yeah.
Just because I cannot draw.
That's fine. And a lot of people are really like snobby when it comes to either tracing or when people use an original drawing to like at least block out the areas and the general size and composition of artwork. But there's nothing wrong with it. If that's what you know allows you to produce that artwork, then you know, do it that way. Do it whatever way you're comfortable with and makes and gets you to having a piece of artwork that you're happy with. Because a lot of like professional artists will do something called gridding, and they're really snobby about tracing. But what they'll do is they'll grid. So they'll take a photo of something, then they'll make a grid on the photo. So there's got lots of little boxes, and then they'll look at each little box, and then on a bit of paper they'll draw a grid. They'll draw a grid, and then they'll basically copy from the photo onto the paper to like do the composition. And I'm like, well, that's exactly the same as tracing, basically, but you're just not putting the picture underneath. You're basically just having the picture next to it. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. You go, girl.
Thanks. Like that, I'm going to come after you. Capri. No. So when you're drawing, this is my final question. When you're drawing, do you use your hand or have you got a pen?
Oh, pen. I have this little pen. Where's and it's got like a little rubber nib, which actually I need to replace because it's gone really blunt because I've been drawing a lot. So yeah, so I draw on the iPad with Procreate with this. Occasionally I still draw like with a pencil, but I don't do that very often anymore, because if I'm drawing onto the iPad, if I draw a picture of somebody, I can draw it, color it, and then I can upload it onto one of my pages all within a couple of hours, and I can then be selling like a t-shirt of somebody or whatever.
Oh wow! I was just reading this. Thank you. I'm glad you stumbled upon it too, because we've found out that Rob might be having people living underneath his sewing machine to sell t-shirts for him.
To be fair, this is me and Alex's cousin from America, and she used to when she used to come over and stay, she used to stay in our spare room. But over COVID lockdown, because I didn't really have anywhere to sew, I got rid of the spare bed, and I put a desk now with sewing, so she doesn't have a bed anymore. So she may have to stay at my sister's house or on a blow-up mattress. So sorry, Chi Chi. I got rid of your bed.
There you go. Confessions of a lockdown. You lose a bed. Well, I went, because of lockdown, I've got rid of my massage beauty studio, and now it's literally just become a Capri room. So no one can come up here because it's now all just Capri.
Is it like a boudoir?
Not yet. We was talking about because we're changing one of the beds in the house, and I was like, oh, I can put the bed up here and I can have pillow talk with Capri. And I was like, no, that sounds wrong. We won't go that far. I think I might get a lot of requests for other stuff if there's a bed in there.
You'll be like a frock destroyer.
Yeah. Oh, I still love that song. I still play it.
It's on our drag queen playlist.
It's on my drive to work playlist.
Does that get you in the mood for work?
It does, especially when you're in a crap day and you're like, bag of chips is stunning, bag of chips is best. Driving along. And this is why I don't sing. So, yes. Anything else from you? Or
I think I have thoroughly exhausted all of my social plug-in.
It's time to watch It's a Sin.
This evening, we are going to be watching the last episode of It's a Sin. We binged the other 4 episodes over the last 2 days, so we've got 1 episode left. So that's my plan for the rest of this evening.
Well, I would like to enjoy, and hopefully I'll see your OnlyFans of Capri. Definitely not OnlyFans of Capri. So yeah, enjoy your, and I look forward to seeing your stuff for if you do manage to get something out for Pride Month.
Fingers crossed. And thank you for having me on your little chat.
Thank you for joining me for our first episode of On the Sofa with Capri. Thank you. I hope everyone's enjoyed our first episode of On the Sofa with Capri. We will be back in 2 weeks as well with another special guest telling us her story. So make sure you join in, make sure you like our page, and make sure you share it. You can also find us on YouTube as well. So if you just Google Capri on the Sofa or Capri Conceive, and it will come up. And make sure you join us next week. And don't forget to head over to Robski's art page on Instagram and have a look at his stuff. And if you feel like spending some money, go buy some of his t-shirts and support a local artist. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.